we're gonna face the side, Dudley. So don't worry about the transition for now. Place your feet together, and we're just gonna take the right foot behind slightly. Lovely. And we're gonna keep the arms down for now and just flare the lats. Now, in this side facing pose, the most common mistake that we see is when we rotate, we pull the arms behind the body. So twist around to the left and pull the left arm around and behind you. Now, if he pulls this arm back, which a lot of athletes do, you can see that we've lost the front lat. So it's really important that this left lat pulls forwards to the judges, so flare the lat, lovely, nice. And then what we do is place this hand onto the waist. Now when we place the left hand onto the waist, we're gonna make sure that the left lat is still pulling forward. So you can see there, we've got a really nice round cat delt. We've got the left lat pulling forwards. Now keep the hand where it is, Dudley, but nip your elbow backwards. Nip it right back, so keep the hand, there you go. Now, this is, again, one of the most common mistakes that we see. When we squeeze the elbow behind, because why? We're trying to rotate more, we lose the taper of the lats. What are we being judged on? A V taper, an X frame. Even in men's physique, we must make sure we see the X frame. So we have to make sure we pull the left lat forwards, and then we can see straight away, now the waist looks smaller because we've got that front lat flared, yes? Now, on the back arm, most common mistake that I see, completely reach your arm forwards, is this. Can you see here, because Dudley, although the muscle looks a little bit thicker, we've actually completely lost the rotation and the top line because we're over rotating through the arm. So just take the arm back again for me, Dudley. And if we were to look at this pose from the side, can you do this pose, but this is the side and this is the front? So exactly as you were, face this way. And you're going to take the right foot behind and just flare the lats. Yes, exactly. Now, if we're to look from here, we can see that we are connected the arm to the lat. So when we rotate, we don't do this, because then you lose the engagement through the lat, through the tricep and into the shoulder. So it's really important, relax for me, Dudley. It's really important that we understand how we're setting up all of your poses. The side poses are the hardest. Why? Because we're trying to do so many opposing things. We're trying to flare the lats, rotate around to the front, keep the midsection tight, keep the top line. It's really hard to do, so it's something that takes a lot of time and practice, okay? So making sure when you're practicing, you're breaking down your basics and fundamentals and you really understand how to set up your poses. Let's jump into the rear pose. So spin round to the back for me. Okay, so here we are gonna apply the same foot position that we did to the front. Super. So you can place both feet flat on the floor, or you can just take one foot slightly off. I think for FITX, this is probably something that's more preferred, but it's not something that you would get marked down on. So some people tend to find that when they place both feet down, it might just give them a better line across the hips, and it allows them to lean backwards and over a little bit more. Super. So, Dudley, just squeeze your lats together for me. Now, again, this is what we see a lot of on stage, because sometimes initially when we're learning to understand the activation, we want to feel it. What we want to do is the complete opposite. So Dudley, pull your lats towards me. Lovely. Now, roll your shoulders in towards me. Another common mistake that we see a lot of the time. Although his lats look wider, we have completely lost the 3D shoulder that we spoke about initially, yeah? Now, we want to externally rotate the shoulders. So just rotate those shoulders back. Can you see the difference straight away of how much more of a thicker top line that gives us? And then from here, we're going to lift up through the upper body and we're going to lean backwards towards the judges slightly. So just arch backwards, yeah? So if your judges are down, we always want to give that impression down and over to the judges. So when you're practicing your posing, pop your camera on that level, so you can make sure that you're practicing what the judges want to see, yeah? Relax for me, Dudley. Switch on to the next side pose. Lovely. So, essentially the same principles as the other side. I'll just talk through another common mistake that I see. Just take this foot further back. This. And then really try and twist around and allow that left foot to follow through, yeah? This again, another common mistake. And this is just purely not understanding the setup of our side pose. We always want to make something feel easier, and the body will try and adjust it to make it feel more comfortable. Your posing will be uncomfortable, yeah? We need to just get used to that straight away. So let's just correct this. So we're gonna bring the left foot back to where it was. We never want a big gap between the feet because we simply just don't need it, yeah? We're gonna make sure there's a bend in the right knee. Now, if you do struggle to showcase your top line around the front, just practice flaring your lats facing the side, and then keep the arms exactly where they are. Use the torso. Now, how do we rotate? This comes down to your thoracic mobility. Where is that? It is the center of the spine and the torso, yeah? So you need to make sure that you have good thoracic mobility. If you don't, you need to improve on it. So that means working on your mobility and flexibility. Really, really important. If you are hanging around, make sure you stick around and watch Mofo Body Mechanics because they talk a lot about the mobility. I tend to find that the guys are less mobile, less flexible, and it's something you really need to incorporate into your posing. You're right there, Dudley? He's working hard here. So, let's just set up that side pose once more, and focusing on the top line, the midsection is nice and tight. Make sure that you are practicing back